Hey,
Hello.
everybody.
Huzzah!
Welcome to the pregame show. We're just dealing with some technical stuff, and I'm working on a thing. And
Of course.
yeah, we're just hanging out. So, welcome.
Ah,
Huh?
I'm going
So
to
I,
eating dinner.
yeah, me too. I got a giant pile of Indian food over here waiting for me. I'm trying to do something.
I just eat early.
Yeah, that's wise. I probably, if I had, I always
What?
intend to, but then like, there's just one more thing at work before, one more thing, and then.
Yeah, I my normal schedule ends up early. Plus, I'm very much of the like, oh, look, it's the time on the clock. Now I am off work. Boom, gone. Not at checking email. So no Teams app on my phone or anything like that. They can't reach me.
No emergency archaeology needed in the middle of the night.
Well, I mean, the we do respond to emergency kind of things, but I'm not one of
That's cool.
the responders, as it were, because it's sort of like we were digging and the backhoe hit something important. Is
Fucking
during
backhoe.
like
It's always the backhoe.
Always.
construction hours, and then it's somebody who's trained in like monitoring, who usually goes out and like does the identification of it.
Mhm.
So the people who are on call are either the project manager who's like, okay, where's my monitor? Where I gotta get my like list of who's where and who's available and blah blah blah, and then the actual monitor. The editors are not. Though of course, editor crunch time, and stop me, like everybody was eating, so that's why I'm like going on. But editor crunch time is when we have these big government documents that are due by like 6 p.m. Eastern or whatever. And they have to be the right kind of PDF, and the PDF has to be generated, and it has to like not be missing the table of contents or anything like that. So that's when the burning the midnight oil kind of stuff. But you know about those because it's noon and 3 p.m. and you're still not done, and you're like, oh crap.
So I was complete
Do it.
sidebar. I was watching this video by Hank Green about monetization of streams and stuff like that. Not that we, by the way, are anywhere like close to doing anything like this, but anyway, it was just talking about the difference between YouTube and like TikTok. TikTok did this huge thing to try and draw all like the big name streamers off of YouTube over to their platform and that kind of stuff, and build their platform. And YouTube, seeing that threat, had implemented that thing where basically like you get half of all of the money from all the ads that run on your videos, right? So which is it's supporting the creators. They're splitting all that money. I think they made like $10 billion or $20 billion or something. So like 10 billion went to creators or something like that. But the TikTok, like they don't run the ads on the videos. They run them between videos. Every few videos there's an ad kind of a thing. So it's like not like you can claim that this video was run thanks to you, like people watched it thanks to you. So they do more of they just created this pool of money to split between all the creators, and then they just basically calculate essentially how much, using some calculation of their own, which probably comes out to something like how many viewers you have, how much time on the platform was spent watching your videos. And then they split just that pool up between everybody on TikTok, basically. And if I'm sure if you have like below a certain threshold, you probably only get 1 cent, and so they probably don't even give you, under a certain amount they don't give you. But the huge name streamers who are like make their living on there get the lion's share of that. But the problem is that it's a set pool. And that pool was set like early on when they were starting out, and the platform's grown immensely, a lot more, tons more creators that this small pool is being split between, and the pool has remained essentially the same. And it's not like the more money they make, the more they distribute to creators. It's just, here's what we're going to give you, and meanwhile we're raking in all the cash. So anyway, he was a little salty about that, and he, recommending that TikTok get on the start supporting streamers or the creators a little better, in sense of either increasing that pool and making it more of a percentage of their profits, kind of a thing. And yeah, but so basically the more successful TikTok becomes, the less it pays its creators, is the basically perverse effect of that, because the more creators there are and the more people, anyway. Yeah,
That sounds like a very sustainable situation.
exactly. Yeah. I'm sure they'll change when they have to,
Yeah.
It's kind of the corporate way, right? But
I have a topic.
ooh, please. I was just
I'm
like,
not gonna
why
touch
am I
my
still
fork for a
rambling about
second.
this?
So a new episode of Writing About Dragons and Shit just went up. We had a letter asking about what makes a good first line. So what is your favorite first line from a book? And or what is your favorite first line that you've written? I'll take my answers off the air.
I hear this question often, and I never have an answer for it. That kind of information just doesn't reside in my brain.
Yeah.
Apologies. It's such a good question.
That's why I added in what's your favorite that you've written, because I feel like the stuff that you've stared at for 6 drafts usually sticks a little better. But I also had to go look up some things because I realized I don't remember these things off the top of my head. But Circe's first line popped out at me, which I think I don't have in front of me, which I think it's when I was born, there wasn't a name for what I was. And I think that's pretty cool because you're like, wait, what does that mean? The other one I pulled up, and I'd have to pull up my phone to get it, is the first line of Prey of Gods by Nikki Drayden, which I did not cite on the show. I liked that one. There are several books I was like, I love this book, and the first line is not one I would point at as this is really great. Piranesi was the one that I noticed about that. Like the first line of Piranesi, it works because it sets a tone, but I wouldn't say, yeah, that one. Yeah. His birth certificate reads Muzakaisi McCarthy, but nobody calls him that except his grandfather and anyone looking for a busted lip. And actually, it's better for the other 2 lines that come after it. Though right now, you could curse his name 1,000,000 times and he wouldn't hear you. He's too busy mourning the fate of his dick. Tell me you don't want to know what the next line is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll call you a liar.
That is kind of funny, yeah. So first line of Shadow of the Winter King, which establishes the tone pretty fully and effectively. One of my colleagues said they picked up my book to, just because it was cool that they're working with a writer and stuff. The Lord of Tears tried very hard not to kill her. That's a pretty tone-setting line that I was very happy with. I don't know.
I feel like mine, I was like, oh, well, maybe it's one of my short stories that I like the line best. But usually I write a sort of first line that's a bit precious, often in the first draft, because I'm trying to be a first line, jazz hands. And a lot of what I do on revision is weigh up which information readers need that they weren't getting in the first draft for both short stories and novels. And if you need to get somebody something now, I find that I have less sort of opportunity to be precious about like, this is the perfect first line. I'm like, well, I want the reader to be absolutely like sure and therefore interested in the right thing, that this is a weird Western and there is magic and, you know, stuff like that. The protagonist is young or old or, you know, etc. So
I'm never going to beat the first line of Brimstone Angels, and I've given up trying. Going for second now.
Okay, what's the line? The first line of the Gunslinger. By Stephen
The man
King?
in black fled across the desert. No, the gunslinger fled across the desert, and the man in black pursued.
No, the
anyway.
man in black fled across the desert, and the gunslinger followed.
Yeah.
Something
That's a
like
good
that.
line.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Nice inherent question. A lot of tone and atmosphere.
The opening to Fin Fancy is, it took all my self-control not to push my Fey Warden to move faster along the glowing path toward freedom. We were like a couple of floating melted gummy bears made of unicorn snot and dreams, gliding lazily through the fractal rainbow landscape of the other realm.
Yep.
So,
Definitely
yeah,
sets a tone.
it definitely sets a tone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Rumpus Imperator says, did any of you ever see that It Was a Dark and Stormy Night books in the 80s? They were collections of the worst first lines. I don't know this one, but I know the Bulwer Lytton contest where you try and come up with the worst first lines.
The
Those are
Stormy
pretty-
Night one.
Yeah, but there's a contest to come up with like intentionally terrible lines, and they're
Yeah.
hilarious. Let me see if I can find it. This
I had a story
Excuse me a
published
moment.
that was my attempt to write like a typically horrible fantasy story, like all the worst aspects of bad writing in fantasy. Like,
I'm sorry, I gotta go get a mouse. I'll be right back.
greatest story ever or something like that.
All right. So 2020, here's the winners of the Bulwer Lytton fiction contest.
Okay, lay it on us.
Okay, this is the winner. Haul away on those slug guskets, you bilge scum, roared the aged captain, leaning wearily against the starboard clog hutch and watching as the mizzen spittle stoat rose majestically upward until it cuzzled atop the upper spit flukes, and cursing his fate that rum and advancing years compelled him to continually improvise names for the rigging of his own ship, but then deciding with a resigned sigh that it didn't really matter.
Okay.
There is a beautiful art to really leaning into a bad line.
Yeah.
This is one of the dishonorable mentions that is a little shorter. There's a lot of very long ones. As the large wild turkey soared over him, propelled by the twin blast from David's shotgun, Michael gazed up at the cornbread-colored sky and thought, what a blessed day to be a Christian.
Here's the opening line from my the most epically awesomest story ever by Randy Henderson. Framdar, the Slayer Death Killer, swung. It was a mighty swing, though a mite less mighty than it might have been, for his mind was thinking thoughts of his father, who he had never known, but if he had, he thought must have been a mighty warrior indeed, which, unbeknownst to Framdar, was actually far from the truth, for his father had been a humble farmer, which didn't really matter anyway, since Framdar's magical birth meant that he had no real father, as the prophecy had prophesied, making him the only man who could defeat this beast. His vorpal sword at the beast. That's all one
My
horrible,
goodness.
long sentence, yeah.
Yep.
there was a contest for good first lines at the public library when I was like 9. And I entered one, and then I saw the ones that actually won, and I was like, oh.
Aw.
Because I think it was up to teens, so there were some people who were much more skilled at writing who were putting stuff in.
Yeah. Like, they just had more time to read and experience, and what is chirping at me? Today I shot just uncountable takes of a video where I describe my book for a marketing thing, and it turns out that after a while I can't say the word exiles. I say, "Hi, I'm Erin M. Evans, author of Empire of Exiles," and I don't know what's wrong with my mouth. I finally think I got it, except I keep looking down at the paper that's like tacked just under the camera, and so my eyes look like this. It's very distracting. But I don't want to do it anymore.
No,
so
don't
I might
do it
just
anymore.
Say it's good enough.
I did a
I don't think
part of
anybody's
a-
gonna watch it and go, I don't want to watch this video. She's not very good on camera. Or I want to read this book. She's not very good on camera. I hope nobody does that.
I did part of a choral, one of those combined song things.
Mhm.
And I did a bunch of takes, and like I started getting worse at the singing, so that cut myself off.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
They'll fix it in editing. Yeah, they'll just like paste googly eyes over my eyes. So you don't get the ping pong effect. Just like it's an attractive ping pong effect. It's like swinging around. That might make people read my book.
It would be kind of funny if you sold your book to a publisher and they're like, "Oh, great, we're going to do all this marketing for you, but we're going to put googly eyes on you in post." It's just something we
I'm
do with
okay
all
with
our
it.
authors. And you're like,
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with it, assuming that they have a track record, and this isn't like we're gonna put together a publishing company and our plan is googly eyes. Then I'm not okay with it. Although part of me still wants to see this happen, so
At that point, you start having concerns.
maybe it's not like I know about marketing, so maybe googly eyes is the answer. Maybe we should be doing googly eyes for this. We should get like a Yang
Vote
looked
in
from
the
one
chat
monitor to
whether
the other,
you
and
would
I thought
like
he was
us-
beginning an adamant head shake. No, we are not doing googly eyes.
No. This is what I would do for that suggestion. If there's a googly eye filter, I am there 100%.
Back in my days when I worked for a small company before it was bought by the big company, we had a status board, who's in the office, who's out on the job, whatever. And so you wrote in where you were, and then you had a little magnet that stuck to the whiteboard, like in or out. But the magnets had googly eyes glued to them. So everybody was, admittedly, they didn't move because you just put up your magnet and then the googly eyes stayed. But everybody was like googly eyes down the board.
They're fun.
They are fun.
Someone told me before that if you're having trouble looking at your camera for streaming stuff, to put googly eyes on either side. Like, that is an interesting idea.
Yeah. Actually, for a lot of auditions, they basically tell you to like imagine there's like a person like right past the camera, but sometimes they'll be nice and they'll actually like put a picture of a person or like your co-star or something like right there for you to make eye contact with.
That's nice. It would make it a lot easier. Like, I'm talking to a green dot right now. We have a deep relationship, this green dot and I, at this point.
Yeah, I think
I'm
that's
cheating
like
on it with the little blue line on my other camera for concentration check. Don't tell.
I think that's one of those
Yeah, it's
things
just
that
between you
viewers
and us.
do not quite appreciate about like a lot of these streams is that like when actors are acting on these streams, they're not necessarily making eye contact like with each other, but like with a random webcam that's giving them like nothing back. And they have like, they're somehow able to connect with it and they have no shame about just like going for it with the webcam. It's a special
Webcams
skill.
are very selfish.
They
You know,
are.
they just take, and never give you anything.
I have to admit that I tend to look like near my webcam, like at somebody on the screen, as opposed to like, I suppose I lose something versus like staring deeply into the webcam's eyes. But
I do like that Zoom lets you reorganize things. So, like, if you're somebody you're going to be talking to a lot, you can slide them up there and keep
who
them
is the
right under
most
the
important
webcam.
person? You're in my center. I'm not telling which one you are.
Mm.
Yeah, the poll. Should we do a Googly Eyes episode? Yes. Find this filter, you guys. Find
I mean,
this filter, and
None
then
of the
you
options are
can.
no. So I think this is like a yes. Real quick, we have about 4 minutes left, and I just want to make sure that all of our people who are viewing right now know that we do have a giveaway going on. The command, I saw a lot of people already entering it, but the command is !ticket right over there for your chance to win 1 dice tray and 1 dice set of your choice from phoenixdice.com. More people need to enter these giveaways because we have one viewer who has won like half of the giveaways that we do. Like we need more people in there to defeat hidden target, basically.
Yeah.
All right. Here, let me.
Can I make a
That's a
confession?
big giveaway.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Steven's
Idle
confessional.
champions, people.
Let's
I have
go.
a confession.
Oh.
Tell
If
us,
a
son.
book's It Was a Dark and Stormy Night doesn't turn me off.
Yeah.
I think I could read the second sentence of that book.
I think that really. So this was one of the examples that we were talking about on the podcast. Was Name of the Wind starts. It was night again, and if that sentence is followed by like and the crickets chirping and like here's some ordinary night stuff, it's not that interesting. But the first sentence is like you're telling me something really obvious. So why? If the next sentence is the thing that puts the twist on it, rock and roll, but it's night again. Like, okay, that
So-
happens.
Again is absolutely unnecessary.
Yeah.
I think that it being there creates a sense of interminableness, right? Like he's been doing this forever. And so I like it there. But I like that the next sentence is a silence fell on the Waystone Inn, and it was a silence in 3 parts, right? The fact that, you know, now we have a location and now we have a weird sort of literary sentence that we're going to explain gives you a better tone of the book. And so I like the again for the tone creation. But if that, again, like if it's a dark and stormy night and then you're going to tell me more about the weather,
Yeah.
I'm out. This is not going to be for me. If it's a dark and stormy night and then here's a different incongruous detail, now I'm here.
Mhm.
Although at this point, I think if you start something with "It's a dark and stormy night," people think it's a joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I don't
the
know. I
odds
think
are
you've
good
got
that
a
it
bad
is.
rep. I mean, I don't know how bad what the sentences are that follow that, but you know, it gets me going in a direction. Okay, stormy. It's dark. Okay. Well, all nights are dark. Oh, is that why people make fun of it?
Well,
That's fair.
I have to
It
admit,
should've just
like,
been-
I'm the type of like reader, viewer, whatever. I will definitely give them like 4 or 5 episodes before I judge something. So, you know, if somebody tells me that a series doesn't get good until like 4 seasons, I still might give it a try. And that's the same with first sentences. Like, even if the first sentence is not great, you know, I'm like Steven, I will give them 4 chapters
I'll do.
to get
I'll
me.
do. No,
I
thank
usually,
you.
yeah, I'm usually.
I'll do a full page, maybe 2.
As a slush reader or somebody who's like picking for like a magazine or a contest or a prize, like I read differently. But in terms of pleasure reading, especially
Yeah.
like if I'm pleasure reading and I it's like something I've already picked because I read the back and I kind of know what I'm getting into. It doesn't matter to me if the first couple of chapters aren't bangers, right?
You know, one of the best, my favorite books of all time, A Prayer for Owen Meany. I remember distinctly that it was on page 120 where I started to give a shit. But it is one of my favorite books of all time.
Wait,
And
which
I
book
think
is
the
this?
only
Did you
reason
say?
I stuck with it
A
was
Prayer
because
for Owen
someone told
Meany.
me it's worth it.
Interesting.
And it was.
Yeah, that's true. If somebody tells me the series is good after 4 seasons, I will do it. Otherwise, I
Someone
might
you
just watch 2.
trust.
Yeah,
Someone you trust.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just know to like
I
throw
don't
it on the
trust anybody
background.
that much. No one.
Who's your biggest source of recommendations, Rhiannon? Where do you go? What source do you trust for reviews? Like Goodreads or People?
I mean, I take in sort of like that things exist
Mm-hmm.
from just sort of generally the ether on Twitter or whatever. But I don't know that I accept recommendations like you will like this from anybody. Because I've been burned by some people who are like really super wrong. So now I'm
Oh my
like,
God.
Is there anybody
really
who
wanna
you feel
know.
like your taste is aligned with enough that you'll take the recommendation? Like, I feel fairly good about it, or not even that.
Oh, okay.
well,
You guys
I
reminded
guess
me
we're
of
going over
another-
time.
have
Yeah,
another
we are going over
confession.
time, but yeah, okay. So we have 4 minutes left. Let's save this for next time.
There
We
we
can talk
go.
about recommendations, good sources, bad sources that don't work for us. Hello, TTRPG gifts. And we have to unfortunately go and run the recap right now.
Can we
Okay, go
just
ahead.
point people at this weekend is the
Oh, yes.
TTRP Gifts Awards. We were nominated for the show that rolls like family, and also our guest Trevor Bettis ran a game, the hotel at the end of the multiverse, for our Extra Life campaign, and that was nominated for best one shot. So there's so many cool things that were kind of came out of this, the cool shows and cool events that were nominated. So you guys should really check it out and see. I don't know. It's, if nothing else, it's a wonderful chance for discovery. And yeah.
Could you drop
so
a
I just
link
wanted
in
to
chat, Aaron? Can you drop a link to it in
I
chat?
can, I think.
Yeah, and thank you so much for making it TTRPG Gifts. Like, it is something that I think is just wonderful for the community, and thank you for all the work that you put into doing it. But we
Yeah,
really
it's very
gotta
cool.
really gotta run this recap. Sorry. All right, see you in a bit.
All right.
I don't think anyone knows what to make of what's going on right now. Cecilia doesn't have her powers anymore. The Heart of the Piercing has bidden her to go seek out her brother, who might be able to restore her pact. And, I mean, it's all been a lot, hasn't it? Her mother forbade it, of course. I mean, apparently, the Heart of the Piercing's brother is far more dangerous than the Heart of the Piercing was. At least according to Skaha. Well, we all know what happens when Skaha suggests anything, Cecilia tends to do the opposite. At the very least, they were able to talk to Illyra about where she got her pendant, and possibly, well, maybe not where she got hers, but they were able to source an option for pendants of their own, perhaps. Quite a large order, 20 in all, I think. I offered my own suggestions, but apparently my story was a bit unbelievable. Go figure. From there, they went to the very last place that Cecilia would want to go, which would mean that the Golden Raven wouldn't want to go there either, and probably wouldn't think that Cecilia would even set foot there, which happens to be the Hot Springs. I hate that place too, so I get it. Of course, after getting there, things kind of went a little bit sideways. They were transported to some moldering tomb, or crypt, or hole, or building, it's something, that was filled with undead beholders, of all things. Eye tyrants, I think they're called. Or maybe I'm thinking of something else. Undead beholders. We'll leave it at that. They were able to fight them off, but then, well, a strange voice boomed throughout the room, referring to them as unwelcome guests, unwelcome visitors, and bidding them to stay a while and listen. There's no telling what it could mean or who it could be, but hopefully, it's something they can handle. I guess we'll see.